everyone, welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. You wake up and all you hear is the sound of rushing water inside your house. Total nightmare, right? Pure panic. Your first instinct is probably to just grab every towel you own and start frantically mopping. But what if I told you that recovering from a flooded home is actually so much more than just a cleanup job? It's literally a high-stakes battle of building science. Today, we're unpacking the hidden science of water damage restoration, and trust me, the physics of your home matter way more than you probably ever realized. 400. Seriously, let that sink in for a second. That is the terrifying number of gallons of water that one single standard burst pipe can pump into your home every single hour. That's over 6 gallons a minute. So yeah, this absolutely establishes why you cannot just sleep on this problem. Every single minute that ticks by multiplies the destruction. We're talking water spreading into hidden wall cavities and completely altering the chemical makeup of your building materials. All right, so let's dive into this. We've got a clear blueprint for making sense of all this chaos today. We'll start with the ticking clock, then look at Brookline's unique threats, break down the 3 categories of water, explore the science of drying, walk through the 3 phases of restoration, and finally navigate the incredibly complex insurance maze. So first up, Section 1, the ticking clock, a race against time. You see, water damage is never just a static event. It is a rapidly escalating chemical and structural emergency. Speed is quite literally everything here. At the 90-minute mark, that is the rapid response goal for professionals to get on site and stop the water. And why 90 minutes? Well, because within just 24 hours, standing water has already penetrated your subflooring, which severely compromises the structural integrity of your house. By 48 hours, mold colonization kicks off. Those spores that are just naturally floating in the air, they find that moisture and just absolutely explode behind your walls. Finally, to reach a certified dry standard, it takes 3 to 5 solid days of industrial equipment running non-stop. This relentless ticking clock is exactly why restoration teams treat this whole thing like a 4-alarm fire. Moving right along to Section 2, Brookline's unique threats, the local microcosm. To really grasp how water attacks our homes, we're going to anchor this explainer in the real-world backdrop of Brookline, Massachusetts. The local geography and history here actually compound the danger, creating a sort of perfect storm for water disasters. First off, you've got aging cast iron drain lines in these historic Victorians and triple-deckers that literally corrode from the inside out. Then there's the muddy river. During spring thaws, it raises the hydrostatic pressure and forces groundwater straight up into basements. Add in those brutal New England freeze-thaw cycles, where dropping temps cause water to expand and shatter old copper pipes, and it's a mess. These local factors basically weaponize water against older, densely packed multifamily units. It means one person's burst pipe can, and often does, quickly become their downstairs neighbor's indoor waterfall. Which brings us right to Section 3, the 3 categories of water. Not all floods are equal. Now, before anyone even thinks about tearing up floors, there has to be a critical assessment phase. Why? Because the literal type of water flooding your home completely dictates the survival protocol. There are 3 distinct categories here. Category 1 is clean water. Think a broken supply line or fresh rainwater coming in. The contamination level there is relatively low. Then we have Category 2, which is gray water. This has a medium contamination level, stuff like a washing machine overflow or a toilet backing up, but with no feces. But then we hit Category 3, black water. This stuff is highly hazardous. We're talking raw sewage backups and external river flooding. Category 3 requires hazmat-level disposal, strict containment barriers, and EPA-registered biocides. You absolutely cannot treat a Category 3 flood like a Category 1, not unless you want some very serious health risks on your hands. Next up is Section 4, the science of drying, physics over mops. Okay, this is where we get into the hidden scientific mechanics behind structural recovery, because real restoration is all about manipulating physics, not just soaking up puddles with a sponge. Take psychrometry, for example. It's the scientific study of the physical and thermodynamic properties of gas-vapor mixtures, basically how air and water vapor behave. And it is fascinating. Certified technicians aren't just guessing out there. They are actively applying psychrometry. They calculate things called grain depression and vapor pressure gradients. They are literally altering the microclimate inside your house to pull moisture out of dense materials like historic plaster and concrete. They force that trapped water into the air so massive industrial dehumidifiers can capture it. These calculations are so important because they combat how water actually moves, which happens through 2 very different, entirely invisible mechanisms at the exact same time. First up is capillary action.
This is water drawing horizontally through porous materials, creeping right up your drywall like it's a giant sponge. On the flip side, we have vapor diffusion. This is where humid air travels and deposits moisture onto cooler surfaces through condensation. These invisible mechanisms perfectly illustrate why pros absolutely need thermal imaging cameras and penetrating moisture meters. You just can't fix what you can see on the surface. You've got to hunt down where the water is hiding deep inside the microscopic pores of your home.
Let's transition over to the solution in Section 5, 3 phases of restoration, the rescue blueprint. So, how do you methodically bring a home back from the brink of a total loss? Well, IICR certified professionals follow 3 non-negotiable steps. Step 1 is emergency stabilization. This has got to happen within hours. It's all about stopping the source, hooking up truck-mounted extractors to pull thousands of gallons of standing water out, and ripping out unsalvageable saturated materials. Step 2 is structural drawing. This is where those psychrometric calculations we just nerded out over come into play. They deploy industrial dehumidifiers and monitor the moisture levels twice a day, every day. Finally, Step 3, cleaning and restoration. Once that dry standard is officially verified, they apply antimicrobial treatments and reconstruct the space back to its pre-loss condition. They even often use third-party air quality testing just to ensure it's 100% safe to breathe. Finally, we arrive at what is often the absolute most stressful hurdle for homeowners. Section 6, navigating the insurance maze, the financial reality. Decoding the really complex rules of homeowners insurance requires a lot of patience. And honestly, we really need to bust this dangerous myth right now. Insurance is not a blanket safety net for all water damage. It just isn't. Covered claims are typically what they call sudden and accidental. So a burst frozen pipe, a sudden water heater failure, or a washing machine that overflows out of nowhere. But on the flip side, claims are routinely denied for gradual neglect, meaning if you ignored a roof leak for months, deferred your property maintenance, or experienced external flooding from a river, which, by the way, actually requires a totally separate flood policy, the insurance adjusters will probably not pay a single dime.
And the rules can get even stricter depending on exactly where you live. For instance, in this specific region, Massachusetts General Law Chapter 175, Section 99 governs these claims. And get this, delaying professional remediation can literally result in a total claim denial. If you fail to act quickly and secure professional, daily drawing logs, your insurer might legally argue that you just allowed the damage to get worse. I mean, you could void your own insurance claim just by waiting a day or two to see if the floor dries on its own. No way you want to risk that. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question to chew on long after this explainer finishes up. If a cast iron pipe ruptured behind your walls right this very second, flooding your home with 400 gallons of water an hour, do you actually know what your insurance really covers? Understanding the science, knowing these rigid timelines, and getting fully prepared before disaster strikes is the only true way to protect your home. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the high-stakes world of water damage restoration.